Hey there. Have you ever walked into a room and completely forgotten why you were there? Or maybe you found yourself searching for a word that's right on the tip of your tongue, but it just won't come out? If you're nodding along, you're not alone. As we get into our 60s and beyond, little memory slips can start creeping in, and it's easy to brush them off as just part of getting older. But here's the thing. I've learned that it doesn't have to be that way. Our brains are pretty amazing, and with a few simple tweaks to our daily routine, we can keep them sharp and humming along like they did years ago. So I'm really excited to chat with you today about 5 simple habits that can help you avoid memory loss and feel more in control of your mind. These aren't complicated tricks or expensive gadgets, just practical, everyday things you can start doing right now. Let's dive in and explore how easy it can be to give your brain a little extra love. First off, let's talk about moving your body. I know, you might be thinking, what does exercise have to do with my memory? Well, it turns out quite a lot. When we get our heart pumping, it's like sending a burst of energy straight to our brain. Blood flow increases, oxygen floods in, and that helps keep those brain cells happy and healthy. You don't need to run a marathon or lift heavy weights. Something as simple as a brisk walk around the block can do wonders. Picture this. You're strolling through your neighborhood. The sun's out, birds are chirping, and maybe you're even waving to a neighbor or two. That 20 or 30 minutes doesn't just feel good, it's actually growing new connections in your brain, especially in the part that handles memory. I've heard of folks in their 70s who started walking every morning with a friend, and they swear they're remembering names and dates better than they did a decade ago. It's like giving your brain a daily tune-up, and the best part is, it's free and feels great. Now, if walking's not your thing, don't worry. Dancing counts too. Maybe you've got a favorite song from back in the day that gets your toes tapping. Put it on, sway a little, and let your body move. It's not about being perfect. It's about keeping that blood flowing. And here's a little secret. When you pair movement with something fun like music, your brain releases a bit of happiness that sticks around. I remember my aunt, who's 68, telling me how she started doing a little cha-cha in her kitchen while cooking dinner. She laughed about it at first, but then she noticed she wasn't losing her grocery list in her head anymore. It's funny how something so simple can make such a big difference, isn't it? So, whether it's a walk, a dance, or even some gentle stretching while you watch TV, getting your body moving is a habit worth picking up. Next up, let's chat about what's on your plate, or in your cup. You've probably heard that what you eat affects your heart or your waistline, but it's just as important for your brain. Foods rich in antioxidants like berries, nuts, and leafy greens are like little superheroes for your memory. They fight off the wear and tear that comes with age, keeping your brain cells in tip-top shape. Imagine sitting down to a bowl of oatmeal topped with some blueberries and walnuts. It's not just tasty, it's a memory booster in disguise. I started adding a handful of almonds to my afternoon snack a while back, and I swear it's easier to keep track of my appointments now. There's something satisfying about knowing that a little change in your kitchen can ripple out to how sharp you feel. And don't forget about staying hydrated. Our brains are mostly water, so when we're not drinking enough, things can get a bit foggy. I used to be terrible about this. I'd go hours without a sip, then wonder why I couldn't focus. Now, I keep a glass of water nearby, and it's become second nature to take a drink throughout the day. If plain water's not your favorite, toss in a slice of lemon or cucumber for a little flavor. It's such an easy fix, but it keeps your mind clear and ready to tackle whatever comes your way. So, Between a few good bites and a steady sip, you're setting your brain up to stay strong. Now that we've covered getting moving and feeding your brain right, let's move on to something that's just as simple but packs a big punch. Keeping your mind active. That's where we'll pick up next, with a habit that's all about having a little fun while you sharpen those memory skills. So, we've talked about how moving your body and eating the right stuff can give your brain a real boost, and I hope you're feeling inspired to take a walk or grab a handful of berries. Now, let's shift gears a bit and focus on something that's just as easy, but feels more like play than work. Keeping your mind active. You see, our brains love a challenge, no matter how old we are. It's like a muscle that gets stronger the more you use it. And the great thing is, you don't need to be a genius or spend hours studying to make it happen. There are so many fun ways to keep those mental gears turning, and I bet you'll find something that clicks for you. One of the simplest ways to keep your mind sharp is by doing things that make you think a little differently. Take puzzles, for example. Maybe you've got a crossword book sitting on the coffee table, or you've always enjoyed a good Sudoku grid. Those little brain teasers aren't just a way to pass the time, they're like a workout for your memory. I remember my dad, who's 72 now, picking up jigsaw puzzles after he retired. At first, he'd grumble about how tricky they were, but soon he was piecing together 500-piece landscapes like a pro. He told me the other day that he's noticing he doesn't forget where he parked his car anymore, and he swears it's because his brain's gotten used to figuring things out. It's amazing how something you can do with a cup of tea in hand can keep your mind so nimble. But if puzzles aren't your speed, don't worry. There's more to this habit than that. Learning something new can be just as powerful. Have you ever thought about picking up a hobby you've always been curious about? Maybe it's knitting, or playing a few chords on a guitar, or even brushing up on a language you haven't spoken since high school. The key is to stretch your brain a little, to give it something fresh to chew on. I've got a friend, Margaret, who decided at 65 to learn how to bake bread from scratch. She started with simple loaves, and now she's the go-to person for homemade rolls at every family gathering. She laughs about how she used to forget her recipes, but now she's got them locked in her head like a pro. It's not really about the bread. It's about giving your brain a chance to grow new pathways, and that keeps your memory strong. And here's the best part. You can make this social, too. Playing cards with friends or joining a trivia night at the local community center isn't just fun. It's a memory booster in disguise. When you're laughing over a game of bridge or trying to remember who won the World Series in '68, your brain's working hard without you even noticing. I've seen folks light up when they get together for these kinds of things, and it's not just about the company. It's the way it keeps their minds buzzing. So, whether it's a puzzle at home or a game night with pals, keeping your mind active is a habit that's as enjoyable as it is good for you. Now let's talk about something we all need but don't always get enough of: sleep. You might not think of it as a habit, but making sure you're resting well is one of the kindest things you can do for your memory. When we sleep, our brains don't just shut off. They're busy sorting through everything we've done that day, filing away memories like a librarian organizing books. If you've ever noticed how hard it is to remember things after a restless night, that's why. I used to stay up late watching TV, thinking I'd catch up on sleep eventually, but I'd wake up feeling like my head was full of cotton. Once I started winding down earlier, maybe with a cup of herbal tea and a good book, I found I wasn't losing my train of thought as much. It's like sleep gives your brain a chance to hit the reset button. Even a short nap can help if the night's been rough. 20 or 30 minutes in the afternoon can clear the fog and keep you sharp. My neighbor Tom, who's pushing 70, swears by his little siestas. He says it's like a secret weapon for remembering where he put his keys. So, whether it's a solid night or a quick recharge, giving your brain that rest is a habit that pays off in spades. Next, we'll dive into one more way to keep your memory humming along. And it's all about staying connected in a way that feels natural and good. All right? We've covered some really great ways to keep your memory sharp. Moving your body, eating smart, keeping your mind busy, and getting that all-important sleep. I hope you're feeling like these are things you can weave into your day without too much fuss. Now, let's talk about something that ties it all together in a way that's not just good for your brain, but for your heart too. Staying connected with the people around you. You might not think of chatting with friends or family as a memory booster, but it's one of the simplest and most natural habits you can lean into. Our brains thrive when we're engaged with others, and it's a beautiful way to keep those mental gears turning smoothly. Think about the last time you had a good laugh with someone you care about. Maybe it was over coffee with a friend, or a phone call with your grandkids where they told you some wild story about their day. Those moments aren't just fun. They're like fuel for your memory. When we talk, listen, and share, our brains are working to process what's being said, recall old stories, and even pick up new details. I've got a buddy, Ed, who's 67, and he started a little tradition of calling his old high school pals every Sunday. They reminisce about the good old days, and he says it's like flipping through a scrapbook in his mind. He's remembering things he hadn't thought about in years. It's not about forcing your brain to work. It's about letting it light up through conversation. And it doesn't have to be a big production. Even small interactions count, like chatting with the cashier at the grocery store or waving to a neighbor while you're out watering the plants. Those little connections keep your brain engaged with the world around you. I remember my mom, who's in her late 60s, telling me how she started joining a book club at the library. She wasn't sure at first. She hadn't read much beyond the newspaper in years, but now she's the one bringing up plot twists and character names like she's been doing it forever. She says it's not just the books that keep her sharp, it's the back and forth with the group that makes her feel alive and on top of things. So, whether it's a deep talk or a quick hello, staying connected is a habit that keeps your memory humming without you even trying too hard. Now, as we wrap this up, I want you to picture how these 5 habits can fit into your life. You might take a morning walk to get your blood flowing, nibble on some nuts while you're at it, spend a quiet afternoon with a puzzle or a new hobby, tuck in for a good night's sleep, and then catch up with a friend over a cup of tea. These aren't big, overwhelming changes. They're small steps that add up to something pretty powerful. Your brain's been with you through every chapter of your story, and with a little care, it can keep shining bright for years to come. I've seen folks in their 60s, 70s, and beyond light up when they realize they don't have to let memory slips take over. It's all about these easy, everyday choices. So, what do you think? Have you tried any of these habits already? Or is there one you're excited to start with? I'd love to hear about it. Drop a comment below and let me know how it's going for you. If you've enjoyed this chat and want more tips like these, give the video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so we can keep exploring ways to live our best lives together. Here's to keeping our minds sharp, our hearts full, and our days a little brighter, no matter how many candles are on the cake. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.